Hey guys, so something you may have noticed is I paint a lot of scales. If you want a cool trick for how to paint them more efficiently and easier, here's something that I've figured out. So you're going to want to take any sort of brush that you sort of general purpose brush is fine. And then you want to go to your brush settings and make sure that you have color dynamics turned on. And once your color dynamics are turned on, make sure that this little check mark up here, apply per tip, is turned off. And then you can play with your hue jitter and brightness jitter and all that stuff. So what that's going to do, now that you have apply per tip turned off, is every time you make a mark, make sure you're on a new layer. Every time you make a mark, it's going to be a slightly different color. So it'll mimic like the feel of real scales, where they're not all the exact same color if you get right up close to them. So now, you fill in an area that has like some of your scales. And now you're thinking like, hey, that looks cool, but that looks really flat. Am I going to have to render each one of these? No. Here's the real magic trick. So you double click on the layer to bring up layer style, and then you're going to want to go to bevel and emboss. And then once you're on bevel and emboss, you make sure that you set your highlight mode color to a color that's sort of in the canvas. Like I like to look at this sort of lighter cream pinky color around in the scales. So make sure that's set to okay. And then for your shadow mode, you want to have like a darker shadow color in here. So like sort of this dark reddish brown is great. Then you can play with your settings to like sort of increase like the depth of the scales or decrease the depth of the scales, but you probably want to have it somewhere around something like that. And then you hit okay. And now, you zoom out and you're like, hey, that looks like scales. And now you can continue to paint in more scales now that you have your layer mode, your layer style figured out. And yeah, and you can change color now. So say you want like some darker red scales mixed in there. And yeah, guys, bingo bango. That's a pretty cheap and easy trick. All right. Well, catch you next time.